Welcome into this edition of Inside Broncbuster Athletics. I'm Mike Pilosof. Pleased to be joined this week. We actually venture outside of Garden City, and we bring in a former Broncbuster and a guy that really made an impact back in 2018 with Garden City. That is Demarcus Elliott, who's now a starting defensive lineman for Indiana. Demarcus, we appreciate you coming on.
Glad to be here.
I spoke with you. We did a piece for the Game Day magazine last year, so you and I had a conversation over the phone. And we were talking about just your experience coming from a JUCO to, a major Power 5 Division I conference, Division I school. So now that you've had a year under your belt, what's the experience been like for you so far?
The experience is still to this day surreal. I'm just being able to get the opportunity to be here and meet the guys I met, meet the people I met is just the best feeling in the world, honestly. It's no other way to describe it.
How much better do you think you are? Now, take us back to high school, to 1 year junior college, and now second year at Indiana. How much better do you think you are from your senior year with Brian Hill to where you're at right now?
Honestly, it's night and day difference. Well, I just recently went back and watched a few of my high school highlights and stuff, and just seeing that to now is it's crazy how much a person can grow and being not just a football player but also in life, and I really like where I'm at right now.
I want to get, for people that are maybe not familiar with your story, you obviously grew up in Garden City. Your dad was a Broncbuster. He played here, and then he went on to play Division I. He played at Oklahoma State. When did the light bulb flicker on for you that you said, man, I can really play football at a high level? What grade were you in? And I know you dominated the Pee Wee leagues in Garden City.
Probably around middle school, 7th or 8th grade. Just seeing some of the guys that played before me and knowing how good they did, and people like Coach Hill was kind of nudging me to keep working harder for it because he knew what I could have been in high school. And around that time, 7th, 8th grade, I would say, when I realized that I could potentially do this for a while.
Who is the guy that you looked up to the most as you were growing up? Was it your dad? Was there somebody else?
Definitely my dad. Knowing where he came from, and Newport News, Virginia, not very good neighborhood. Just making it out of there, going really far to JUCO in Kansas, and making it out of there too. Just amazing.
The fact that you just mentioned he came from Virginia and he came out to practice, you and I kind of reminisced about this story a couple times, where he came out to practice in 2018 and he was telling the entire team about his experience at the junior college level. Your dad now being able to come watch you, it almost seems like he's at every game in Indiana. What does that mean to be able to watch him basically not living his dream through you, because he did play Division I college football, but to have your dad and your family in the stands now playing Division I football?
It's just an amazing feeling. Looking up in the stands, seeing them there, seeing them how proud they are of me. It's just a great feeling. And also for my little brother, so he doesn't have to go through the same thing I went through. They see me playing here, and he's from the same place I'm from, so knowing what I did here or knowing what I can do, maybe schools will start looking out there for kids, and especially my little brother.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because I don't know how many times I've asked you this question where, the K-States, and never mind KU at this point, but K-State, I know that it's a sensitive subject even today, to this day, when I talked to Brian Hill about it, how you were so under-recruited, and Garden City took advantage. How much does that to now? You're a junior at Indiana University. How much does that still drive you?
It drives me every day. Every time I wake up, I just think in my head, what could have been.
So it looks like that's going to be the right call.
Great job by Demarcus Elliott, number 1, the big nose guard getting out there.
Then once I wake up, I go here, and I to the weight room every morning with coaches and players. I'm glad they didn't. That's kind of a bad thing to say, but I'm glad they didn't pursue me harder, because then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I guess it's happened for a reason.
I'm going to give you a number, because when I looked at this, it was crazy. 1 in 22. That's what Indiana was against Penn State. And then people can say Penn State's down this year, whatever the case, whatever excuse they want to use. To win that game and the way you won that game, what does that say about your team this year?
It says that no matter where you came from, like no matter like what the past says, like Coach Allen always says, it doesn't matter what the past says. That doesn't define who we are and who we're going to be. That's up to us and what we do now at this moment. So just being able to beat Penn State is just crazy.
3-0, third time that's happened in the last 6 years for Indiana. How good is this team? I know that sounds like a really generic question, but when you look at the Big Ten and the way everything runs right now through Ohio State, well, 3-0, what does that say about this particular team?
That means that we're serious and we've been putting in the work when nobody was watching and everyone was counting us out. That means we've been working nonstop. And just because you count us out doesn't mean we've counted ourselves out. So we hold ourselves to a high standard around here, like winners, and it looks like it's paying off to me.
It was an unusual year because of COVID. I mean, everybody knows that, but the Big Ten was going to shut it down, and there was going to be no football, and who knows if it would have been played in the spring at all. So, and then you had teams like Nebraska talking about, oh, we're going to go to the Big 12, Big East, wherever. For you personally, knowing the struggle just to get to Division I and then almost really have everything just taken away, what was that experience like for you?
Initially, it was really hard because I didn't know what I was going to do.
It's from their head coach to get things started.
Yeah, it was Demarcus Elliott. Just beat the block. It looked like the offensive lineman fell down or tried to cut block, and it's old scoop and score drill.
Because I came all this way just to play football, and with that being taken away, I was at loss for words. I had no idea what I was going to do or what was going to happen with the next however few months in my life. So I'm glad they cut the deal straight and let us play.
All right, I'm going to give you some names here. You mentioned Coach Allen, so Tom Allen, Jeff Sims, and then Brian Hill. Those are the three coaches that have kind of guided you along the way from high school to junior college to now at Division I. Give us a little anecdote on each one of those guys, how they've made you better.
Coach Hill, I would say, just holding me to a standard, like being one of the better players in my high school, like not letting me slack off or show, like, what's the word I could use? Like, just not letting me play down to the people we play, just holding me at that level I need to be at. And Coach Sims, just amazing coach. He will get on you no matter what, no matter who you are. And just having that person in your ear, guiding you where you want to go is just amazing. And people around him were scared to mess up, so because what he'll tell you. So, but having that is what I really needed. And Tom Allen, Coach Allen's great guy, great character. He loves every single one of us, like we're his own kids. So having that love in your life just makes playing for someone so much easier.
Take us through a typical week. I know what a typical week is in junior college, but Division I is totally different. So you guys have Michigan State this week. What's the week like for you?
We got practice Tuesday. We had practice today. Practice Wednesday, full pads. Thursday will be another practice. Friday's like a little walkthrough so we can prepare. And we still have meetings and stuff on Saturdays too, because they have a little saying here, coach till kickoff. So never let up at all. So every week's full schedule, no letting up, never.
I know Michigan State just got blown out. Is it, and you've learned this because you've played at so many different levels, is it easier right now not to overlook, because you got Ohio State looming the following week, not to overlook a Michigan State team that's struggling?
Yeah, I find it easy not to overlook anybody, especially in the Big Ten, because look at the turnaround Rutgers had, like all those games losing last year and now beating teams like Michigan State. So just having that in the back of our minds that no matter who we play, it's the Big Ten, and all games are important since they're all conference games. And we have a little saying here, this is the most important game because it's the next one. So having that mindset here, we don't overlook anybody.
I know your schedule, especially with travel and everything, is crazy now that you're playing in the Big Ten. But when you talk to your brother, how much did you actually get a chance to watch your little brother this year? He's actually starting to, his build and his mold, like it actually looks like another Demarcus Elliott out there.
I watch the games all the time on YouTube. Every game I watch on YouTube. when I had a chance to, because we're just in the hotel, or we're either in the hotel chilling, or I just get done for meetings. So I always turn the game on, watch, call my dad sometimes during the games, and just being able to watch him play. Like, he has my number, so it's just a cool little thing.
Demarcus, again, and I've said this for the last couple of years, I think it was a travesty what happened with the schools under-recruiting you. Indiana got a hell of a player, so we always appreciate the local guys giving us a few minutes. So congratulations on all the success, 3-0, and good luck this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mike.